execution all at once. It's lame.
At the fairy's request, Impa had fought her way to the summit of Death Mountain to rescue Princess Ruto. There, she subdued the Goron chieftain, Darunia, who had temporarily lost his senses. Upon freeing Princess Ruto, however, Impa was shocked to learn the reason for the conflict between the Zora and Goron people. The ancient water temple was teeming with monsters that poured from the Gate of Souls. What's more, the monsters were apparently led by Princess Zelda herself. Hoping to make sense of this disturbing revelation, Impa and her newfound allies journeyed to Lake Hylia. When they arrived, they were greeted by a Zelda seemingly consumed by evil.
Hyrule Warriors walkthrough part 6. This is going to be the water temple, and it's probably gonna be a level that brings back a lot of bad memories for most people, but for me I found it about as easy as the water temple in Ocarina of Time itself. And every time I go online I always hear everywhere how much everybody hated the water temple, but I did it on the 3DS and had no problems. I think I beat it in under 30 minutes the first time ever. And then someone told me, oh well, it's color-coded on the 3DS, so I beat it on the Nintendo 64, and it was exactly the same, so I still have no idea why the water temple was hard. Anyway, maybe as a kid, you know, playing it as a kid, it would have been a lot harder, but today, it's definitely not. So when you first start out here, I actually made a pretty big mistake, and I didn't go up to the top to make a surprise attack. I went straight to the front, and that kinda lowered what could have been surprising. But if you just run up here and jump down, you can do a pretty cool jump down, destroy everybody, and surprise them, and you'll get a little bit different dialogue, and I think Ruto probably survives a little bit better, but you still have to rescue her, and that doesn't really make a big difference as far as the mission goes. So when you are here, it's good to try to take out this army and not worry about Ruto too badly. If you're looking at your Wii U gamepad, then you should be able to see her health bar, and you don't want her health bar at this stage in the game to get below half, and if you can help it, I try to keep it even above 3/4 health. And that's because there's a later point in the level where she's going to be on her own for a while, and you're going to want all that extra health that she has, so you can run around, do the missions that you need to, and get her freed without her dying. I think if she dies, then you lose the mission. I'm not really sure. I didn't look at the defeat conditions for this level, but it is something you do want to prevent. So after clearing out the special enemies, which are just Lizalfoses, which also have items you'll want to pick up, after clearing out the Lizalfoses, I decided my army could do a pretty good job taking out the rest of these little skeletons, and then I took out this outpost captain, took out a few more skeletons just to make it easier on my army, and then I decided it was time to run on over and save Ruto. Now, this is the first level where you get to play as Sheik, and it's also suggested because water level and Sheik's harp is apparently lightning based, so the weakness of this level is lightning. And at this point in the game, she's the only character who has a lightning weapon. And Sheik is actually one of my favorite characters in this game. I think so far it's her and Impa, they're my favorite to play as. And Ganon's okay too, but the others aren't really as fun as these two. And of course, Sheik is my favorite character in Smash Brothers, which just came out, and it's so freaking fun. It's kind of amazing. Although it's kind of hard to play Smash Brothers on the 3DS because the screen's so small. But anyway, that'd be for a completely different video because it's a completely different game. So anyway, once you get over here to Ruto, just kill all the special enemies, and once they're dead, you will rescue Ruto, and then you'll want to take out this outpost captain, and you'll notice 2 keeps that are up on the top here. There might actually be 3 of them. Yeah, that one on the top left. If you can take over them, then your army will have a way easier time for the later half of the level, but I didn't end up taking over that one in the top left half because it's not really necessary, and normally I would say it is worth taking over, but I think on normal difficulty you should be fine. If you're on hard difficulty, then taking over each and every keep is definitely worth doing. So of course Zelda will be talking about the Hyrulean army and trying to lower the morale of your own army, and all that does is kind of make them less effective, so you can't rely on them as heavily as if the morale was higher, but it's not a big deal. Morale is it's an interesting system, but it doesn't really seem to make a massive difference in this game, so it can be kind of annoying when your team is all sad and everyone else is all happy, but it's not a big hindrance, and once you go through the level, if you just get through it quickly, then the morale will be raised again and you'll be fine. So taking over this keep is what you're going to need to do next, because you need to lower the water level so you can actually get into the water temple itself. And I went on over there and did that before Ruto was saying that I needed to help escort her. And now she's going to be covered by even more special enemies, and I decided to keep using Sheik's special attack meter here because it does a lot of damage, it does a lot of area of effect damage, and I almost feel like it does more damage to more creatures than most other people's special attacks. But this outpost kept getting taken over again, so I just took it over again, and then the Lizalfos was becoming a serious nuisance, and they're the same as pretty much any other Lizalfos. Just hit it until it dies, wait for its special, or its weakness bar to come up if you want to take it out that way. And it's a little bit quicker, but sometimes it can be easier just to hit it twice, roll to the side, hit it twice, roll to the side. So then eventually Ruto will make it to the lakeside keep, and the water level should be lowering here pretty soon, and then you get direct access to the water temple itself. Now I was half expecting them to make some really stupid part of this water temple just to make you hate it, but sadly they didn't, because it's not a difficult water temple, and I think this is actually one of the easier levels, which is really strange because it's right after what I still consider to be one of the hardest levels, which was the Death Mountain one in the level before this. So come down here and you'll notice a bunch of Poes are sitting around, and you don't have to kill them, but it can help your army because they're going to be stuck at this point for pretty much the rest of the level if you leave the other keeps alone. And this next part, you're not going to be really able to move around a whole lot around the map because Ruto is going to go looking for the Lens of Truth, and if she has low health, then you're going to be timed on this point a lot more than you would be if she had high health. So the first thing she's going to do is go underwater, and she'll show up in the middle center room of this water temple in a second here, and then that's when you're going to have to lower even more water levels inside the temple itself. So what I decided to do while I was waiting for Ruto to appear in the central hall, I came over here and decided to take this temple face keep. And my army was pouring in here, so I kind of considered not doing it, but I didn't really want my army to end up failing like they normally do, so I just took over what I could. And especially with how long the dialogue took, it was worth taking this over just to have another spawning point from my own army. So, surprise, surprise, Ruto gets trapped while looking for the Lens of Truth, so she's stuck in the center room, and now you need to go and free her. So there's going to be 2 points that you're going to need, there's going to be 2 keeps that you need to take over that are inside the water temple, and those will lower the water levels so you can free her. And this is the point where I talked about earlier. If she has low health, then it's going to be a lot harder because you're going to be on a lot more, you're going to be on a stricter time window, I guess, between the time that you can actually take over the keeps and when she won't die. So just try to keep her health high throughout this level if you can help it, and when you get to this point, you shouldn't have a problem. When you walk into the water temple, the other army should be pouring in and trying to attack you. And if you want to, you can try to whittle it down and take it over as you walk through the temple, but the easiest way and the quickest way for this, especially if Ruto has low health, is to just go and find the water levels. And I believe both of them are on the bottom left and the bottom right side of the map. So the most southeastern and southwestern sides are where the water pumps are. And Impa, I think she said she was going to go look on the right side of the map, and that's something that doesn't really help a whole lot. She doesn't really accomplish anything. I think the most she could do is show you, okay, here's one of the water things, but it's going to take her forever just to take it over. So here's the first keep with the southwest room with the first water pump. Just come in here, clear it out. It's amazing. Sheik's special ability is awesome when it comes to taking over keeps because it just drains the health bar of those keeps so quickly. And then you just have to take out the keep boss in a few hits, and the keep is yours. Now the keep needs to be under your control for the water pump to work, but I'm not sure if it'll go back up if you lose it. I haven't actually lost these keeps before, so I don't know if that's something you'd want to risk. And just to prevent that, it's good to take out some of these outposts here and then clear up a few of these army spots and then go on to the other side and do the same thing. Even if the keep does get taken over later in the level, it shouldn't be a big deal as long as you have access to Ruto. So then the gold Skulltula spawns where else on top of the map, the side that you are nowhere near, and I can't remember exactly where that gold Skulltula is, so I'm not gonna say, but if you want to find it, just go up there and listen for some scratching like you would hear in Ocarina of Time. And I said this in every other video, but I'll say it again in case this is someone's first time watching this. This is not a Skulltula walkthrough. I will have a separate video for the locations on all of those. Oh yeah, these summoners also spawn, and there's something that you do want to take out pretty quickly, and that's just because they're basically walking keeps and they can just be really annoying. So if you take them out, you don't have to worry about that army spawn anymore. And throughout this whole time, Darunia and some points Impa who are fighting up on the top half of the map, they'll start complaining that they're getting pushed back or they don't have enough help. And if you really want to, you can go up and help them and clear that keep that's in the top left that I left earlier. But I don't really think it's that necessary. Your army does a pretty good job holding them in at that stairway that enters the water temple. So it's not really a big deal, and you shouldn't be spending too much time down here where that really matters anyway. So when you are clearing keeps, if you don't have a special attack meter, all you have to do is get some special enemies in here, like that Poe, and the health bar already went down half. Because for some reason, special enemies take down the health of the keep a lot quicker than just the regular enemies. But the problem is there's not too many of them in the keep usually. So then once you capture both rooms, the choice here is to go and take over the remaining two keeps on the northwest and the northeast, or you can just go straight and kill the gatekeeper, and also take over a couple of outposts. And I think I actually got lost here. I think I decided not to take over those keeps, but this map is a little bit confusing because it looks like you can get in here from the top and you can't. That way it's locked until later, and I had forgotten that, so I come over here and plan on walking in and go, oh, whoops, well, let's take out some of this army because they're causing problems for my army. And then that Poe was going to take too long to kill, so I just wanted to come back around here and go the right way. And Ruto is still inside there getting pummeled by the enemy army, which means she could be dying, and I can't show it because her health bar is on the Wii U gamepad right now, but if she's dying right now, which she is, then that's not a good thing. So then the gatekeeper is right here, and I think this is the second gatekeeper you end up running into. And he's not too hard to kill, he's just like the keep boss, and you just gotta run in, take him out, and then to rescue Ruto, just kinda go in next to her, take out these special enemies, and she'll be free. And yeah, her health is pretty low there, so that's not good. And once she is rescued, she will leave the battlefield, so you don't have to worry about her anymore. And once you take out a couple more of these enemies, then the victory conditions change, and so does the objective, which is to defeat Zelda. And now that is possible because you have the Lens of Truth, so you can see where she is. And what you can do is 100% the level, which means go and take over all the keeps, and I think a few more chests spawn if you do take those over. And there's also a BMOS right here. There's 2 of them actually, and these are probably what keep your army from getting in, from getting too deeply into the water temple. So if your special attack is strong enough, it should be able to kill them. Apparently Sheik's wasn't for some reason. I guess I just wasn't high enough level. Level 13 is kind of low. But that BMOS stayed alive. That was kind of a waste of a special attack, and I just thought, forget it, let's go kill Zelda. But I am going to take out some of the outposts, just because if they're directly in front of me, then there's no reason to leave them. And I came up here because I thought, did I take this over? I think I must have. I don't really know why I took this place over. I must have thought that it would be easier just to have one side of my control than it would be to not, because I guess I was worried about Zelda killing my army at the time or something. But I don't know, you can take this over if you want to, it's not really necessary. But I think this might be one where there's a heart container. I think, or there may not be. I really can't remember. I recorded this like 2 hours ago and I cannot remember why I walked in this room. So no, there's no there's no chest there. Okay, I don't know. That's weird. Well, now you can make your way down to Zelda, and I think I got lost here again. I just had to go walk into that room down there, and instead I ended up going around. And kind of annoyingly, the big blotch of red that stays when there's an army, like it tells you when there's army creatures around there, or enemy creatures around, if there's just a small group left, it still says there's a blotch of red, so sometimes it makes you wonder if you need to go and take care of that, or if you just need to leave it alone. But anyway, I didn't take over that outpost because I didn't think I needed it at this point, and you just gotta walk back in here where you killed the gatekeeper, and that is where the wall will open up and you'll be able to find Zelda. And I went the wrong way again because the cutscene messed up my sense of direction, so I had to go to the left and not the right. And then the entire army comes pouring out, and I wanted to take out a couple of these enemies first because the special attack doesn't do a whole lot of damage to Zelda herself. Then she'll be Dark Zelda with her fancy little rapier, which was, I believe, said to be kinda useless and more ceremonial, so I'm wondering what kind of magic she put on it to make it deadly this time, but not complaining, it's a cool sword. And then all you have to do is target her and do what you do with any other boss, and that is really just hit her a couple of times, dodge, hit her a couple of times, dodge. And her attacks, I don't actually know many of her attacks because I haven't let her finish a lot of them. She does have that one where she kind of sends a lot of people flying and then she'll hit a bunch of people in front of her. And then she'll do another one where her weakness meter comes up, and I think I end up hitting her weakness meter once or twice, but I don't really hit it too often. For Zelda, just the amount of time it takes her to do anything, I find it's faster just to hit her twice, roll to the side, hit her twice, and roll to the side. And as with any other special character, that just prevents them from blocking, and if you can keep them from blocking, then there's no reason they can't take any damage. So I got a little bit lucky there and took down the weakness meter the first time, and I don't think I took it down a second time because she's already almost dead. Oh, and she does have this attack where she uses part of the Triforce and kind of sends you flying backwards, Twilight Princess style. But I did take out her weakness meter a second time, and she's almost dead now, so once you defeat her, that will be the end of the level.